This is big breaking news. The Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, just issued a major warning on Fox News. He is saying that we, quote, must prepare for war if we want peace, right? He's saying that we need to be strong and we need to be in a good position and being prepared for a major war if we want to prevent a war. And this is in response to comments from China saying that they are ready for a war. So let's get into all the details here. I want you guys to listen to what he's saying. Really quick, guys, please just hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos every day, keeping you updated, and it just helps to get these alerts out. I appreciate that. So this is what the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, said on Fox News. I want you to listen to this really quick, and then we will talk more about this and also about what's going on with the U.S. military in Mexico as well, too. He has an update on that, but listen to this really quick. This is in response to China. Their embassy posting last night on X that they are ready for any type of war, trade war, tariff war, or physical war. And this was an official Twitter account by China. Listen to this really quick. The Secretary of Defense.
Change gears. As the speech wrapped up last night, this was posted by the Chinese embassy. Quote, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end. As Secretary of Defense, how do you take that?
Well, we're prepared. Those who long for peace must prepare for war. That's why we're rebuilding our military. That's why we're reestablishing deterrence and the warrior ethos, is because we live in a dangerous world with powerful ascendant countries with very different ideologies. You mentioned defense spending. They're rapidly increasing their defense spending. Modern technology. They want to supplant the United States. If we want to deter war with the Chinese or others, we have to be strong. And that president understands peace comes through strength. He also has a great relationship with that gentleman right there, too, Xi Jinping. So where we can partner, where we can cooperate to recognize that we don't want war with China, we don't seek that war, we will. And the president has sought historic peace and historic opportunities. But my job as the Secretary of Defense is to make sure we're ready. We need the defense spending, the capabilities, the weapons, and the posture in the Indo-Pacific, which is something we're very much focusing on.
China has said they're going to up their defense spending 7.2%. And that's supposedly with a struggling economy. We're getting mixed messages on that. As Secretary of Defense, you always want more money. Absolutely. At the same time, DOGE is in there cutting back and speeding up the systems, making it more efficient. How much money are you asking for when you talk to the president or when you talk to the Treasury Secretary in this budget? How much more do we need? Because we watched it, the defense spending was not even keeping up with inflation over the last 4 years.
My message has been, I'm both a fiscal hawk and a defense hawk, and I think America First represents both with peace through strength. So DOGE is going to cut fat where we need to, and we're going to reprioritize on the right things. So it's not about a fixed dollar amount, Brian. It's about addressing the president's priorities: Golden Dome, southern border, modernization, hypersonics, UUVs, UAVs, the fight of the future against China. They know we're serious, and we're building for that.
So let's talk about the big announcement yesterday, the mastermind behind the Abbey Gate bombing that injured.
All right, so you heard that there. We will get into more details of what's going on in Mexico as well, too. But he is saying there that the U.S. needs to be in a position of strength in case a war does break out between the United States and China. And overall, I do agree with that philosophy that the United States does have to have the strongest military, the most up-to-date, the most modern military, and that does act as a deterrence, right? It's kind of like the nuclear deterrence theory, where if a country has nukes, they're less likely to go to war with each other, right? If both countries have nukes, it's kind of the same thing here. If the United States has a very strong military stance, it's less likely that another country will make a move on the United States or its allies. Okay, so that is overall true, but it does seem like war with China could be on the horizon, right? Why would the Chinese embassy, this is an official account for the United States as well too, so this is an embassy that's inside the US posting this, saying that they're ready for any type of war, trade war, tariff war, or anything else if it ever came to that. All right, so for some reason they're putting out this rhetoric, and it comes in response to Trump just implemented 20% tariffs on China as well too, right? And we know that China as well has been targeting Taiwan and has been doing drills and simulations and dry runs to take over Taiwan, right? Because they consider it a part of their mainland and a part of the country of China and not its own separate country. And they want to take it over, right? And claim this territory. And it also is resource-rich territory for things like semiconductors and chips, things like that. A lot of the production is there, like NVIDIA, things like that. These chip companies, they operate out of Taiwan, right? And the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, the TSMC, is one of the biggest chip manufacturers in the world, if it's not the biggest. So it's also a strategic area as well too. Don't ask me why all of these resources have been concentrated to this tiny island right outside of China. Some of the outer islands are like less than a few miles away, like less than 5 miles away from mainland China, and you can see it. So it's right there. Don't ask me why we would invest all this money into chip production in this random island. It should have been invested inside the United States domestically, so we don't even have this issue. So if China ever did make a move on Taiwan, it wouldn't be this catastrophic supply chain crisis for even the US military, right? They're depending on these chips and these semiconductors to be produced there, all right? So be on the lookout for that, at least for things to escalate, right? I don't think we're going to get to a full-fledged war, but I think we're going to see China probing and maybe making certain escalations to see what they can get away with, all right? So I want you guys to listen here too of what Secretary Hegseth was saying about the southern border as well too, right? He is saying that the U.S. military is working in coordination with Mexico, and they have been doing operations to shut down this trafficking crisis that is happening along the U.S. southern border. Listen to this really quick. He's going to give some more details on that, and then we will talk more about it.
So you're going to go, after this, you're going to go to the border with the vice president. You're also bringing more troops to the border. The numbers are staggering. Your thoughts about what is the mission right now? Is it down to zero?
Almost, not to quite to zero yet. 97% drop, Brian. Historic lows of crossings. The deterrent effect is there. We've brought in the military alongside Tom Homan and Secretary
Look at those numbers.
Oh, it's his 98.8%. I mean, we're talking gotaways in the single digits, Brian. President Trump gave us a charge. 100% operational control of the southern border. Border security is national security. Over 20 million people, as the president pointed out last night, poured in across our open border policy, which created recklessness, death, drugs for our communities. We're sending those folks home, and we're not letting more in. And you're seeing that right now.
Are you hearing that Mexico's cracking down too? Because they evidently arrested 900 cartel members. They seem to be on the offensive on their southern border. Are you seeing enough cooperation?
I mean, my message to Mexican leaders and Mexican military leaders has been, we want to cooperate with you, and we will cooperate with you. But if you don't police up the cartels on your side of the border, then we'll be forced to do it for you. We don't want to do that. So right now, we have historic cooperation, military to military, but we're letting them lead. It's their country. It's their fight. We want them to lead that fight. So far, they have stepped up, which is a very good sign.
If we hear about ISIS or Al-Qaeda leaders anywhere, we're taking them out. If the cartels are now a terror group, we look at them as terror group, will we take them out just like they're in Yemen, just like they're in Sudan, just like they're in Syria?
I mean, Brian, you heard the president of the United States last night, just like I did. They're a designated foreign terrorist organization. We will not accept them controlling that border, poisoning our people with fentanyl, which those numbers have not gone down enough, which is why the president has continued tariffs on Mexico. So all options, as I've said, are on the table. We would prefer that the Mexican government handle it themselves, and we hope they do, and we're partnering with them to do so.
All right, let's change gears. As the speech wrapped up last night, this was posted by the Chinese embassy. Quote, "If war is what the U.S. wants, be it..."
All right, so you guys heard that there. He is talking about how Mexico has been making progress on this issue. And he's saying if they don't, then the United States will move into Mexico with operations and start taking out certain groups and certain people, right? So that's also a major announcement as well too. And that crossings are down 97% since the previous administration, right? So this is big. The military presence at the border has stopped a lot of people from crossing, and now the next phase is they're going to be tackling these organizations that are operating along the border and trying to shut them down and maybe even wipe some of them out, right? Take some of them out militarily. So let me know what you guys think down below. Please hit it up for me down there just to help get these warnings out. And we don't want a war or anything like that, right? We don't want a war with China. China is one of our biggest trading partners. That also prevents wars from breaking out, is when countries trade with each other. But they could make a move on Taiwan, and then it puts us in a situation where, are we going to defend Taiwan, or are we going to allow it to be taken? Is this going to be like a Ukraine 2.0 where we are in this situation where we have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars to defend this country on the other side of the world, and it kind of puts us in like a quagmire situation where not a lot of progress is being made, but a lot of money is being spent and a lot of lives are being lost. Okay, so hopefully we don't get into any situation like that. Hopefully these things don't pop off. But make sure you are prepared, right? Just have stockpiles, have your preps, have your canned goods, have your garden, have your chickens, have your tanks filled, all these things, because spring's coming too, right? We're planning getting stuff ready, gardens, more chickens, and more projects for the spring. We're getting ready, right? It just snowed just yesterday, so not quite ready to get things outside, but we're going to start things inside very soon. So thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life and your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.